Bill Schmidt announced your starter opening day, and we know where that is. Can you give us the rest of your rotation coming out of the gates?
Well, it's a fair question. Right now, we're looking at Kyle. We'll throw Friday night, and then Sensatella and Marquez will also throw against the Dodgers.
So,
Not sure the order yet.
okay. And also your guys at the back of the rotation, Cool and
Gomber and Block.
Block still in that? Okay.
So looks like Kyle, Marquez, and Sensatella will throw against the Dodgers.
Okay, cool.
That's our first series.
Do you have, is Ty Block on the team yet? I mean, obviously you have to make a move.
Yeah, we have to make a few moves yet to finalize our roster. We're just under a week away. We still have a lot of decisions to make on our roster.
Mhm.
I truly appreciate you wanting to know our roster 6 days prior. But, I mean, I get it. Love the curiosity and the interest.
Our humans news.
Sure, I know. People love news. But again, I've also heard, I also know about the human race that they can be patient, and they can understand that teams and organizations have to, at the very end, make some decisions on their roster. And we're just like the 29 other teams that will probably wait until a day or two before the season opens to set our opening day roster.
Given the perfect world, or what, let's say everybody gets through this whole thing healthy and you're trying to make a decision. Would you go, let's see here, 14 and 14 or possibly 15 pitchers?
You know, we're looking at either 14 and 14 or 13 and 15. 13 position players and 15 pitchers, or 14 position players and 14 pitchers. We're sort of looking at either one of those two scenarios.
I talked to Peter Lambert a little bit in there, and
Good kid.
He was saying that he understands innings limits and that he put him on an innings limit this year. Really eager to get going. How do you start to ramp him up? What's kind of the schedule with him?
Well, I think the first thing is, we got to get Peter in a spot where, he feels completely confident in his arm and his and the physical part of being ready to start a season. And we're just not quite there yet, right? This off season was good for Peter. He had a good winter. He felt a little bit of forearm discomfort prior to coming into camp. That sort of resolved itself. When he started ramping up here in the shortened spring training, everything was going well. Then just he felt a little bit that same feeling in his throwing arm we decided just to let's be cautious with Peter, because I think like you said, we talked about it being a 6-month season, and where he's been the last couple of years, he wasn't going to probably grind out 33 starts and hopefully close to 200 innings. So we're being very cautious with Peter.
You say he's thrown some bullpens, but is he more on a just staying on like bullpens at this point, or?
Well, he was supposed to start today,
Right.
So that was a great sign. But because after conversations with Peter and our trainers and our coaches, we decided let's pull him back from the start, and let's just get him in a good spot physically and mentally to be a little closer to games than trying to push through, where we are right now with Peter on, April 2nd.
Talked a bit to Charlie about, the just kind of going into his season, and he says now that the DH is a real position, it's not as much of a fight for him. You know, he understands that he can rotate in and out of it.
Sure.
But it does seem, though, that he's really pushing to make sure that he is a strong outfielder, that he can have some
Sure.
impact on the game with the
Yeah,
glove.
Charlie loves to play. He likes to see himself as a complete player. And I think a National League player, you know, with the, 15 to 20 interleague game, they wanted to just keep being a National League player, through those. And it was, hard for some National League players to DH, especially a guy like Charlie who's so routine oriented in how he prepares that, the DH, just the DH role was a little hard for him. But now I think he has wrapped his head around the possibility that because there's 162 of a designated hitter and what it could potentially, bring to him as far as, rest and encompassing the best physical nature for Charlie as he does, move into the back end of his career, could be helpful. So he'll wrap his head around that and get his in the lineup in right field routine, and he'll get his in the lineup as a designated hitter routine. He'll accomplish that.
Hey, buddy, I'm sure you've commented on this before. You've known it was coming to DH for more than a year, a couple of years, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think we all knew it was sort of coming.
Yeah, from a managerial standpoint, I know you always enjoy the chess game, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
Is it it is what it is, but is it disappointing a little bit from an intellectual standpoint?
I don't know. It's disappointing. I just, when you're in that game, right, a National League game, and you feel it as a broadcaster, right? You guys are, or a writer who's astute and understands the National League game, and it centers around the 5th, 6th, 7th innings. I mean, there's a lot of work that has to be done there as far as strategy, and I'll miss that part. Knowing what our team has to do and trying to, I don't know whether outwits the term, but strategize against the other managers who are doing the same thing on their side. So, I mean, it's a different style of managing an American League game than a National League game, for sure.
Twofold, and they're unrelated. Did you enjoy the strategy of the? I did, which means nothing, but of the California tiebreaker that all of a sudden, happening. How do we play this?
Yeah.
Who's coming up and who's
Yeah, I did.
Who's the runner on second?
I did enjoy that. Yeah, and I was, again, we've talked about, I'm a traditionalist at heart, right? But I don't know whether softened is the right word, but I've come to realize that some of these changes have been okay, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
There's it's all lineup based, a lot of the strategy, where you are in the lineup. Who's the runner? Who's the first hitter? Are you tied or are you behind a run or two? Some basic strategic principles come into play, based on all those situations. But I sort of enjoyed the finality of it, right?
Would you like to see it going forward, kind of like hockey has a different
Yeah.
set of rules for the regular season? Obviously, I would assume you don't want